Hello my dear health seekers, Inga from Health Origins here, and today you're in for a treat because today I've partnered up with the lovely Vanessa Dixon, and check out her YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description below. So she's got this lovely, moist looking, delicious looking banana bread, and it's gluten free too, so I wanted to try it out. So I partnered up with Vanessa and she'll be doing one of my recipes on her channel too, so check it out, and let's begin. Here we've got all the ingredients you're going to need. So there's some dry ones and there's some wet ingredients. So let's start with the dry ingredients. So I've got 1 3/4 of a cup, so nearly 2 cups, so 1 3/4 of a cup of gluten-free flour. So this is the mixture that I actually made myself, and I'll link to the recipe of how you can make your own gluten-free flour in the card above or in the description below as well. So that's our gluten-free flour. So if you don't want to make your own flour, that's absolutely fine. You can find some gluten-free pre-mixed flours already for sale in the shops. So then I'm gonna put a couple of good pinches of salt in here. Then we've got 1/3 of a cup of rapadura sugar in this instance, or you could even use coconut sugar as well. Vanessa was using coconut sugar because that's her favorite sugar. It's least refined, and it's yummy. It's got some kind of caramelly taste to it. So that's 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and then the remaining dry ingredients is 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So make sure it's not lumpy. If your baking powder is lumpy, make sure you sieve it through a little sieve before you put it in. So 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon, and you heard my oven has been preheating on 180 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit. For those of you in America. So 1/2 teaspoon of bicarb soda in here. And then I've got an additional add-in, so that wasn't in the original recipe of Vanessa's, but she did mention that we can add some cinnamon as an additional ingredient, and because I love cinnamon, I'm gonna put 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I think it'll add to the banana bread. So that's all the dried ingredients for now. So I'm just gonna mix them up until it's uniform, so there's no big lumps or anything. You just want to mix it through, that the sugar and all the baking powders and salt, just mix it well. I can see little bits of lumps of my rapadura sugar, so I'm making sure getting those ironed out. So that's it. Now this is mixed well. Now we're gonna get on with the wet ingredients, and then we're gonna combine the two. So for the wet ingredients, I've got already mashed 4 small bananas. So in Vanessa's recipe, she said that you need either 4 small ones or 3 large bananas. So these are 4 small mashed bananas. Then she's using coconut oil in her video, but she mentions that if we want to avoid that, then we can add applesauce. And since this channel is no oil channel, we're here about natural foods, natural fuel, and oil is not one of those foods, and we want to keep the calories low as well for weight loss. It's just a necessary fat really. So I'm adding 1/3 of a cup of applesauce instead. This is the applesauce I made myself actually, but you sometimes can find them in the shop. I haven't managed to find it in UK actually. I don't know if I don't know where to look for it. But it's just basically I've cooked apple and pureed it, so that's all it is. So 1/3 of a cup applesauce, and then I've got 1/4 of a cup of soy milk. In this instance, Vanessa used almond milk, but I think any plant milk will do, because it's just to add a little bit more liquid to the recipe. So just mix that through, and also we need a teaspoon of vanilla essence. So she was using like a really liquid vanilla essence. Mine is bean paste, because that's the only one I found in the shops, but that's fine. That should work just as well. So if you've got a paste, use that. If you've got essence, use that. It should work just fine. Or even if you have vanilla powder, that would work too. It's just adding this lovely vanilla flavor in, basically. And that's it. The wet ingredient is now mixed through. And then we're just gonna pour that all in with dry ingredients and mix it through. And it's important, a tip Vanessa gave in her video that she learned from the recipe. I think the actually, I don't know where she got the original recipe. I'll have to check, and I'll put it on the description for you guys. But basically, it's important to not over mix the mixture, so it's not like so it doesn't become kind of hard or chewy. So just mixing it through, and then I'm adding 1/2 cup of broken up pecans. You could use walnuts, or you can use chocolate chips, like dark chocolate chips. But I prefer pecans to walnuts, for example, because I find them less bitter. And banana bread is really nice with walnuts, so I think these will go really well. So I'm just gonna mix those in as an add-on. Vanessa did mention all of these add-ins that you can add, so I'll be doing that. And I've got here my silicone tin. You could use a normal metal tin, but then you'll probably have to either oil it a little bit, the sides. But if you don't want to use any oil, you could just use a silicone tin, which I'm doing here. So I'm gonna just pour it all in, and we're gonna stick this baby into the oven for at least 50 minutes, but it can take up to an hour. Basically, we need maybe in 50 minutes, I'll check it with a toothpick to make sure it's coming out clean, to make sure it's cooked all the way through. And like I mentioned already, you want it on 180. So just gonna distribute it evenly. There you go. I'm actually gonna decorate it with a few pecans, I just thought. So my lovely banana bread decorated with pecans is ready to go into the oven, and we'll check in 50 minutes. So the bread is done. So in the end, I left it for 60 minutes, and I'm gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes, cool down a little bit. In fact, I'll let it cool for 5 minutes, then take it out on the wire rack to cool down even more, and then we're gonna taste test it. So this is the texture inside, guys. Have a look. It's lovely. It's risen quite well, and it's still warm, so I couldn't quite wait long enough, but I would suggest you wait until it's completely cold. But my knife is quite sharp, so I was able to slice it quite okay. Let me just zoom in here for you. Yeah, so it's pretty nice. So now what's left So now what's left to do is to taste test it. So now my favorite part of the recipe making is the taste testing. So I've got a few pieces here to try. I'm sure Mark will be coming here in a minute too, but let me give this a try. It's still warm. This is yummy. And yeah, the sweetness is actually just right. My friend was saying that as well. I'd give her a little piece to try. That is not overly sweet, but yet it's sweet enough. And it's nice texture, and it's quite moist as well. It's quite springy too. So actually success for my homemade gluten-free flour concoction. That really works, guys. So I'm so chuffed. But yeah, the recipe worked well. So thanks, Vanessa, for this yummy recipe. I know I changed a couple of things, but it still worked well. You know me, I like tinkering with recipes. So thanks, Vanessa, for this lovely banana bread recipe. And like I said, guys, if you go to her channel, I'll link it in the comments below to her channel. Check it out and see which recipe of mine she'll be making too. So if you're new here, welcome and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this, and hit that bell notification that you get notified every Wednesday when the new recipe video comes out. Or I also do cook along for weight loss show every Sunday at 7 o'clock GMT time, where we, you know, cook something for weight loss, something yummy, something plant-based. And remember, food is fuel, so be mindful of what you put in the body. So until next time, guys, and don't forget to give me a like too if you like this video, and let me know what you thought of this bread if you tried it. It's actually really yummy. I'm looking forward to see what Mark has to say about it too. See ya.